So you came here looking for videos about Affinity products. Or maybe you came here because you wanted to talk about print on demand. Or maybe you came here because you wanted to talk about Shopify. Guess what, folks? I'm not a slave to that technology, and sometimes I need to get my hands dirty. I need to get my hands in the paint. That's what we're gonna do today. Let's go! What's going on, everybody? My name is Dave Conrad. I'm an artist designer based in Southern California, and today is gonna be the art. But there's gonna be a conversation about some real stuff, things that are important to people who are making videos and people who are consuming videos. I just wanted to talk about that today while I do some art. So in a second, I'm gonna cut away to me taking this hat and turn it into something cool. But not before I tell you, hey, look, guys, if you enjoy the content that I make, please do me a favor, hit that like button, go there and hit the subscribe button. If you got something to say it in the comments below. Make sure you hit the bell because you never want to miss a thing, and then share this with your people. All right, let's get to talking about what I want to talk about while I make something. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this in the past, that I've been getting a lot more attention on this channel, mostly because of the content that I've been talking about regarding Affinity, the different programs that they do. Maybe it's the stuff in relationship to Adobe and whatnot, and that's cool. I've also gotten some attention on the things when I'm talking about print on demand, like Printify and Printful. All cool stuff. I love talking about that stuff, but it's not the only thing I want to talk about sometimes. However, because you guys came here for that, you came here for that reason. You found me because you searched for one of those things. You searched for Affinity Photo versus Photoshop. You searched for that and you found me and you decided to stick around. And maybe you stuck around for more than that one video, and if you did, cool. Maybe you stuck around for other reasons, whatever those reasons are. Maybe you thought I would talk about Designer. Maybe you thought I would talk about Affinity Publisher. Maybe you thought I would talk about one of these other programs that are associated with some of these other programs, which I'm probably not gonna. I'm not gonna talk about GIMP. I'm not gonna talk about Inkscape, at least not yet, because I don't know anything about those programs. So maybe you came here looking for that thing, and then you find me here talking about this philosophical crap that I'm gonna talk about today. But I do recognize that you guys came here for a reason, and there is this pull. There's this pull that I have to make the kind of content that you want to see. I recognize that. I recognize that the reason that I've been growing so much recently is because of that content, and so I'm kind of feeding that beast. I'm making sure to take care of the people that came here for that reason. Because as much as I do like those programs, I'm not exactly interested in making just videos about design applications. I probably could make a ton of videos about that stuff. I could talk about Affinity Publisher, Affinity Photo, maybe a little bit of Affinity Designer. I could talk about that till I'm blue in the face, and maybe that would feed you. But you may not necessarily stick around long enough because I'm talking about the same thing all the time. And it would probably not serve me that much because I'm not that interested in talking about the same things every single time. And I keep saying this over and over again as if it's like it hasn't sunk in yet. The thing is that I'm an artist still. I'm an artist at heart. I will always be an artist, and I will always have this artistic need to make things. This pull to make things with paint and get my hands dirty, as I said before. And you know, while I'm doing this video right now, I'm doing that because that's what I needed to do. I make art things as much as I make designy things. The art is a thing. It'll always be a thing. It will continue to be a thing for now until forever. So if you can't get with that, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be making some stuff. But there's also this other side that I know people appreciate from me once they've come to hang out with me long enough. There's this side of me where I talk about productivity, I talk about stick-to-itiveness, I talk about motivation to work, I talk about tapping into creativity, I talk about all these things because I know that people dig that kind of feedback. I know that they kind of crave that stuff, and people come to me for that on a regular basis, not just here, but in other channels. So if I can get you here to stick around long enough, then I can probably pull you in that you want to listen to the other things that I want to say, because maybe it inspires you to go make the thing that you want to make or start the business you want to start around your creative work. I know that you want that, and so I'm definitely feeling that I need to make that stuff too. So the compromise that I've been making lately is to make 2 videos a week. I try to make one that is more on the philosophical side, or maybe the creative journey side, where I talk about what I'm doing in my own business or in my own work. I talk about that stuff, and then I do another video that's more technically involved sometimes. I'll talk about the Affinity stuff. I'll talk about making a mug or making a poster, or I'm gonna be talking about making a resume, and I've got all these other things that I want to talk about. So I've mixed them up. I do the technical stuff, and then I do some of the creative stuff, and then I go back to the tech, and then I go back to the creative. But doing 2 videos a week is kind of tough. It takes a lot of energy, and so I don't actually get to make as many artistic things as I want to because I am concerned about putting 2 videos out a week. At some point, I am going to probably pull back and go back to one video a week. Maybe I'll make some extra content for special reasons like Patreon. But I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to go back down that Patreon road. I'm not ready to go back down to that road yet. So for the time being, I'm tapping this well. I'm tapping this well by creating a couple of videos a week because I know that people are reacting to it, and I want to get more of you here within the fold so that I can then kind of say, okay, I've gotten myself to a good base. We're starting to grow at a decent amount. Now I can maybe slow down the videos just a little bit so that I can actually focus more on the quality rather than the quantity. Now, I know that there's this thing that's been going around a lot. I mean, if anybody follows Gary Vaynerchuk or anybody who's a follower of Gary Vaynerchuk, they have this thing where it's like quantity begets quality, meaning the more stuff you put out, at some point somebody's going to find the quality in one of those things that you put out. And that's kind of why I'm doing 2 videos right now. Are they all the greatest videos ever? Hell, I don't think any of them are the greatest videos ever, but you tapped into one of them and you found that cool enough to stick around. And the more often that I put stuff out, the more likely I'm going to either tap in more with you or somebody new or whatnot. Now, I've mentioned in a couple of videos now that I'm working on a journal that's for people who make creative content. Like, so if you make videos, you make blogs, you make audio content, I'm making a playbook, so to speak, so that you have ways of organizing yourself. Mostly doing this for my own purposes because I want to organize myself a little bit better. And one of the things that I've learned from this process is that if I don't start planning out these videos, have a moment like you had last week where it's like I'm stymied because I don't know what I'm gonna write about because I was like, what do I gotta write? What am I gonna do about the video? And then I don't do the video. So I need to keep myself in check. I need to get myself on track, and then I need to make sure I know what kind of videos I want to make during the whole week. And so, of course, that also requires a little bit of research, and I've done a little bit of research. So I just want to give you a rundown of some of the videos that I'm considering making for the rest of July. I got a plan here to do a resume build project for Affinity Publisher because my wife is a furloughed character, just like a lot of other people, and she needs her resume beefed up, and so I'm going to help her beef up that resume, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to talk about Printful again because Printful seems to be getting back on track. I'm talking about doing post-punk oriented poster design. I have this idea about talking about the different types of design advice that I've gotten that have changed the life, changed who I am, changed how I do things. I am going to be building the rest of the creative content journal, and as I do that, I'm going to want to talk about it. And so that's something that's on the list because I would really like to finish that project by the end of the month. And then I have this kind of crazy idea about doing modern band names and turning them into old school kind of punk rock logos or something like that. I haven't fleshed that one out completely yet, but it was something that came to me and I was like, oh, let's give it a shot. So that's the kind of wide range of stuff that I'm going to be talking about. Of course, there's going to be more detailed stuff about what I think about these different programs when I do it, or more detailed stuff about how I sell my work on Shopify or whatever. I'm going to talk about these things in more detail as I go, but you can see that there's a pretty wide diversity there in some of those videos. And when I go to 1 week, people will have to just understand that this is the kind of content I want to make. Of course, I want to make content for you, and I will always keep that in consideration. Part of my research is looking to see what you guys are searching for, why you found me in the first place. But there's also the other ones that I want to do for my own sake, my own fun, my own interest. But the secret, I think, is how do I get people engaged in those videos, even though it might not be the thing that they came for? I think the first most important rule there is to keep a thread. Keep a thread through as much of that stuff as I possibly can. So yes, I'm talking about all this creative work. I'm talking about the artistry, but then I share at some point how I go from my artistic expression and how that becomes something more in the design-related side. I'm gonna kind of share that thread, or how does all of that apply to when I go to sell it or when I go to make merch so that somebody can buy something through me. Making that connective tissue through all of those things I think is important. Another thing that I think is essential, and a lot of people don't do, is to be as engaging as I possibly can here on the screen, because at the end of the day, I'm supposed to be performing for you. I'm supposed to be a little dance monkey for you, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with dancing for you, for my money. Dance for my pennies. I don't have a problem with that at all. When I was in high school, I took some acting classes, and I wouldn't say that I was really that great of an actor, but I did pick up a few things that I think that I can use as an arsenal to help make people more engaged and, maybe entertain them a little bit better than some of these other clowns that just get up here on the mic and just stare at you and just talk at you in a monotone voice and don't move and don't do anything. One of those lessons that I learned was to talk to the back of the room. If you're standing on stage and trying to talk to a whole arena of people, you better be talking to that last person in the very back row. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're yelling at people. I'm not yelling at the Raptors for people to hear me! It's not about yelling, it's about projecting, and there's a difference there. And a lot of people say that I talk loud and I project myself too much, and that's hey, blame my high school acting teacher that, because that's kind of where I learned it. Second lesson would be that expressive gestures get attention. The bigger you move, the more likely you're going to get people's attention, because if, like I said, if you're just sitting there staring at the camera with your arms at your side, you're not going to be nearly as interesting as somebody who's flailing around like crazy. Now, of course, you don't want to go nuts, but the more expressive that I can be when I do this, and you can't see it, but I'm moving my arms all over the place, the more I do that, the more that it kind of brings you in, because it's like, whoa, there's stuff to look at, not just this face staring at me, the camera, and talking to me like I'm a drone. And the third rule is something that's a little bit crass, but one of my teachers taught me, and it was kind of weird that a teacher would share this with high school kids, but he said, if you can make them laugh, you can make them breakfast. And essentially what he's implying there is if you make somebody laugh, you have the potential to take them to bed, and that you get to stay overnight and make breakfast for them in the morning. He was being metaphorical, of course, because he's not trying to, well, not that I know, he wasn't trying to take anybody to bed, but who knows? I mean, it could have been, he was a little bit weird. I just chalked it up to him being an actor. But he's not saying that we want to take you guys to bed. What he's saying is that we're pulling you in and keeping you in because I'm trying to make you laugh. And if I can make you laugh, you're gonna stick around. Make me laugh, clown! Ultimately, what this all comes down to is that even though I'm super keen on making the kind of content that brought you guys to me in the first place, which I am 100% stoked on that you're here, even though I'm keen to do that kind of content, at the end of the day, I still gotta make what feels good to me. I still gotta go and get my hands dirty, gotta get the hands in the paint once in a while. And even if that's also metaphorical in just doing the kind of stuff that I wanna do for you guys, and hopefully that you dig it, well, I'm gonna do that. I will get back to one of those other videos that you like, but you just have to wait a couple days for it. Alright, there you go. That's the final product. I'm pretty happy with it. And originally I was gonna make this and keep this for myself, but I just tried it on, and it doesn't fit my head. Doesn't fit my fat head, so I'm gonna have to sell this one instead. So if you're interested in this hat, which is actually pretty rad, I would really like to keep it myself, but if you're interested, it'll be up on the website. A link in the description. That's it, folks. That's all we got. If you have any other suggestions, some of those video ideas, those are things I've researched. If you've got suggestions, you've got thoughts of videos that you want me to make, hit them up in the comments. Tell me what you want me to talk about, and I will do my best to accommodate if it's within my scope. And while you're headed down there to the comments, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell so you never miss a thing, and of course, share it with all of your friends. That's it, folks. Remember, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya. Keep making stuff.